Hi, today we are going to continue about the trigonometric ratios. That is, we are going to see the value of the trigonometric ratios beyond 90 degree. Okay. Now, before going for the values, we'll see what are the sign, like whether it is a positive value, negative value, or what it is. All right. So in the school we have seen, or in the last lecture also we have seen all the values between 0 to 90 degree. Yes, so for all trigonometric ratios, the values between 0 to 90 degree, all values, whatever values we have seen, that all values are positive. Okay, whether it is half or 1 by root 2, whatever it is, all are positive. That is the nature for all trigonometric ratios between 0 to 90 degree, or I can say that pi by 2 radian also. Right? Now we are going to go further. That is when we go beyond 90, that is 90 degree to 180 degree. 90 degree to 180 degree. That is in the second quadrant. Okay. So all the values in the second quadrant, how they behave. So in the second quadrant, only the sign ratio is positive, all other ratios are negative. Now we know that if sine is positive, automatically sine is nothing but 1 upon cosec, or cosec is nothing but 1 upon sine. So if sine is positive, cosec has to be also positive. Okay, but apart from this ratio, these two ratios which are one and the same, okay, just reciprocal of each other, all other ratios are negative in the second quadrant. I repeat, between 90 to 180 degree, or between pi by 2 to pi radian, okay, all the ratios except sine and cosec are negative. Only sine and cosec is positive. Similarly, when you go to the third quadrant, okay, now in the third quadrant, that means 180 degree to 270 degree. Okay, in this only tan is positive and all others are negative. If tan is positive, automatically cot will also be positive, because tan and cot are reciprocal of each other, reverse of each other. Okay, so in third quadrant, that is between 180 to 270, or you can say that pi radian to 3 pi by 2 radian. Okay, only tan and cot is positive, all other ratios are negative. Now when you go to the fourth quadrant, that is 270 degree to 360 degree, okay, in this quadrant what happened? Only cos is positive. So if cos is positive, sec also has to be positive, because again sec is the reciprocal of cos. So sec is positive and cos is positive, all others are negative. So in the fourth quadrant, that is between 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, okay, only cos and sec is positive, all others are negative. So this is how all the ratios in the quadrant are divided. How do you remember this? There is one shortcut for this to remember. That is, because here A all are positive, okay, all are positive in the first quadrant. In the second quadrant only sine is positive, here only tan is positive, here only cos is positive. So we can have a shortcut, that is add sugar to coffee. You can remember like this, or you can say that all silver teacups, or also you can say that all students take calculus. So let's say you are studying abroad and you have a calculus as a separate subject. So they say that all students like take calculus, or all silver teacups add sugar to coffee. You can remember anyhow. So let's take an example and tell me whether the ratios are positive or negative. Let's say if I ask you what is the value for sine 150, is it a positive or negative? What will be your answer? Yes, so we have to see 150, where does it belong? It belongs to the second quadrant. So this is your first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant, correct? So 150 belongs to second quadrant, so sine will be positive. So this is going to be positive. But same, if I ask you tan of 150, what will be your answer? Tan will be in the 150. 150 is in the second quadrant only, so tan is negative. So it is negative, like that. If I ask you sec of 150, So again, sec is negative in the second quadrant, so it is negative. Getting me? Now similarly, if I ask you, let's say 300. So if I ask you sine of 300 degree. So now you know that 300 is in the fourth quadrant, and sine is negative in the fourth quadrant, so sine 300 is negative. So like that, given any angle, you need to locate which quadrant it is, and accordingly you have to say, or you have to identify whether it is a positive or negative. Okay, so I have given you degree measure. Similarly, I can ask you the radian measure also. Okay, I can ask you any radian measure, and I can ask you like whether it is a positive or negative. So in that case, we should know how to convert degree to radian, and or radian to degree, and you can locate the quadrant and you can tell me like it is a positive or negative. Is this clear? So practice about this. This is very important. So in the first quadrant all are positive, second only sine and cosec, in the third quadrant tan and cot, in the fourth quadrant cos and sec. Alright, so just remember this. We will be using this in our further